Alrighty, hello, hello, hello. How is everyone doing? This is Michael here from I Love Real Estate, and I'd like to welcome you today to the I Love Real Estate Student Success Story. I got to say, being in this community and actually having the ability to interview students like I do it's seriously a privilege. I just love this I Love Real Estate community, and I know that many of you do too. And I think that sharing these kind of stories really highlights exactly what Dymphna has created within this community. It's quite amazing. And today I've got another amazing story with an amazing couple. So let's get straight into it. It's right on just after 12. So today I have a couple. They are based in South Australia. Their names are Corey and Amanda. Now, you have probably seen some of their videos that they have done to update you on some of the deals that they've done. But today we want to have a real in-depth look at how they came into the community and actually really pick apart and understand exactly what they've been doing. Because I tell you, they've been doing some amazing things in a very short period of time. So, Corey and Amanda, are you there? Welcome to today's interview session.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much for joining us. I would like to just start off, and if we could go back to a little bit of the beginning before you joined the I Love Real Estate community, and it was only recently as well. What was your life like? What were you kind of like, where were you at the time before you started?
Yeah, it wasn't that long ago, but it feels like it was because a lot's happened. So for me, I mean, Amanda and I weren't married at the time. I used to have a digital marketing agency, and I guess in a nutshell, I was extremely burnt out, and I ended up closing the agency. And so, but as a result, though, we were in a bit of a financial mess, a lot of credit card debt, a lot of pain and anger, I guess, and frustration and confusion. And yeah, I think for us, we got to the point where we wanted to start to get into property, but we didn't want to be in a mortgage for 30 years, essentially, and pay that off. And we basically, Amanda was saying before to me that I tend to like to question things and find out better ways of doing things. So I was asking questions about, like, how can I buy a house without putting a deposit down or things like that? And it kind of started from there. But I mean, Amanda and I, we were in a lot of financial issues. I was unemployed for a period of time. And yeah, as a result of me questioning things, I just stumbled upon options, property options. And from there, I basically spent probably a year or more, probably going through hundreds and hundreds of letters being sent per month. And the amount of deals that didn't happen that was so close to, like, I could probably write a book, like, of all the things that we had to go through, the failures, the close calls of getting something and then having it thrown back in your face and go, what else have you got, kind of thing, after a developer said, yeah, this is what I'm after, and then changing his mind after 4 months of work, for example, on one deal. So in a nutshell, frustration, struggle, tired, tiredness. Yeah, I guess for us, life was really challenging, and Amanda was going through her visa stuff as well. I was struggling because I've always believed that, that there are other ways of making money other than just doing a 9 to 5. So for me to not have a job, but maybe I need to have a job because I need to pay for things while I do this, was really challenging for me, I guess, personally at the time. And obviously a failure of a business that I started from nothing for 10 years and then closing it down with a lot of debt. There was a lot of failure. Let's just say that. A lot of failure, a lot of financial hardship, a lot of struggle, and a lot of rejection is probably a summary of that for us. But I don't know if there's anything to add. Yeah.
And the one other thing, Corey, was that you had a bit of you were operating off something from very young, from about 14, weren't you?
Oh, yes. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you for reminding me. Yeah. So I made this promise to myself when I was 14. So I remember the day and the time and everything that happened so vividly, because it's one of those things that when something big happens in your life, you remember everything that happened in that moment. And so what happened is I was in bed, really upset because I could hear my parents fight and scream over money. And I basically made a promise to myself, and I said to myself, I don't know how, or I don't know what I'll be doing to make this happen, but it stops with me. I remember it today. Like, I don't know how I'm going to make money or I'll stop this from happening, because it's like a gene that happens in my family. Everyone in my family in the past has been struggling with money and been, fairly poor. And I just decided it stops with me. That was the decision I made. I don't know how I was going to do it or what I was going to do. But I think for me, setting that intention from the very beginning is what has, led us to today. And all the decisions I've been making by, starting businesses and failing and trying again and learning about that, learning about mindset, learning about overcoming challenges and finance and money and all that kind of stuff. So I think it all started at 14 for me.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
For me, I feel like I came to Australia 6 years ago and I couldn't even speak English. I couldn't speak a word of English. People ask my name, I was like, what? I came to Australia with $4,000 and I came here. And for me, I was just like, I just want to find a job here. And I was a nanny. This was my first job. So for me, after 6 years, actually be doing deals is very unreal. It's very unreal. So yeah, so this is life before.
Yeah, I mean, Amanda, like, I remember when we met in a jiu-jitsu class, and Amanda couldn't speak. She couldn't even respond to my basic hi, how are you question. She had nothing. Literally what Amanda said, a couple of $1,000. And life for Amanda was even more challenging because she had to learn English and have a job and create stability. And you lived on $30 a week to buy food.
Yeah, exactly.
For a year.
Exactly. I used to live in Sydney, and as a nanny, I was earning $300 per week. I paid $260 in my accommodation, and I had $40 to eat.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Tough.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's a tough one. Yeah. All right.
Compared to other people, they've been a lot worse, but we had a lot of struggles, like constant financial and mental struggles.
So then from there, what was the decision to join I Love Real Estate? How did that come about?
Well, for us, we were doing property options for about just over 12 months. And so I basically was sick and tired of spending hours and time and sending 200, 300, 400 letters a month to get nowhere, to spend 4 months on a particular deal and for the developer to throw back the feasibility practically in my face to say, I don't like it, what else have you got? And I go, I don't have anything else. I just got so sick and tired of seeing other people succeeding and not succeeding myself. Like, I was just after, like, maybe I can just make 20 grand from a deal, like I'll be like over the moon kind of thing. And
True.
And we just got sick and tired of that. And I guess for me, I was just asking, like, what is it that I'm missing? What is it that I'm not doing or don't know, or that's preventing from Amanda and I to make this work? And so I don't know if you want me to go through any particular of the struggles that I went through with the options, Michael, but
it's up to you to share, Corey, if you're happy to share with that.
Well, I was thinking, well, look, what's the difference between a 1 into 2 and a 1 into 500 subdivision in an option? So I might as well go for the 1 into 500. That was how my head works, because it's the same amount of work, yet more money. So I went for big stuff, right? And that was probably a big mistake, because there's other factors I'm not keeping in mind from the developer's point of view, who needs to actually do the deal and make the money on his side.
And I suppose we're just going to say as well, you haven't as yet done a deal.
Oh, I've done no deals. Never. I've never bought a house before. So basically what happened is basically in Adelaide, I was going for 250 to 500 lot subdivision deals, sending letters, basically getting HOA signed, having my ultimate buyers. So I was already had a list of developers that.
Now HOA.
So sorry.
HOA.
HOA, yeah. So heads of agreement.
Yep, cool. Thank you.
For just to create an option agreement.
Yep.
Anyway, so I had a list of ultimate buyers, and a developer's like, yep, this is what I'm looking for. This suburb, this is how many, this is the profit margin I'm looking for, that kind of thing, right? And these were high profile developers. So I'll spend months, like 4, 5, 6 months, sending letters, meeting with vendors, negotiating. And you got to remember, like, I'm driving in a really old Honda CRV with 50K worth of credit card debt and unemployed.
No air conditioning.
No air conditioning, and it's 38-degree days, and I'm sweating in a shirt kind of thing. And I've never bought a block of land, but hey, I think $5 million for your land is reasonable. Let's do it kind of thing. Like, that's the situation that I was in a nutshell, and try to haggle them down to make the deal more profitable by $1 million. Like, that was a situation that I was in. Anyway, I'll get something signed, right? Great, got it. I'll bring it to the developer. And so I'll rock up to the developer's office. He's 15 minutes late. I'm sitting in an office around all of his employees, feeling awkward, which was not a great experience. Anyway, we rock up, we meet in this long boardroom meeting room with a long, like really thick wood kind of table, if you can imagine. And he's sitting across from me, and he doesn't even acknowledge that he's late or anything like that. But that's fine. That's okay. I'm not there for that. I'm there to make a deal. And he's talking about other things and that kind of thing. So he hasn't even acknowledged why I'm here. And he's like, oh, that's right, you got a deal you want to show me. So I showed him, I had this beautiful folder, like I put a lot of effort into it, the feasibility, the comparables, the engineering, basic engineering emails about the sound barriers and all that kind of stuff that he needed to know, right? And he's like, looked at the fees, it goes, there's something wrong with that, I don't like it. What else have you got? That was pretty much the response. He slid it back to the table towards me. And I still remember it because I was just like, like, what else have I got? Like, I've got nothing else. I spent 6 months finding this deal that you told me that you want. And I think for me, the lesson for there was that, other than I was putting all my eggs in one basket, I guess, but the other part was that I was going for big deals. And for him, he's just like, man, this is a big one. The timing of the market's wrong, blah, blah, blah. And so anyway, I felt gutted, like absolutely gutted. And he's already haggling me about what my fee would be as a finder's fee and things like that. And it was just not a great meeting, not a good feeling to have someone who's high profile, I got introduced through, and to be treated like, I mean, look, he wasn't doing it intentionally, and but late, didn't feel really respected. And to kind of have it shoved back in my face and go, what else have you got, kind of thing. So that was just one. I think there was probably about 22, 23 different deals that fell apart in a space of 12 months.
Yeah. So my perspective was, I was working by myself because Corey was just full-time doing this. So I still remember Corey used to pick up me at work, and I opened the door and I was like super excited. It's like, hey, what happened? And Corey's like, oh, didn't work out. I was like, oh, but it's okay. It's next one. And then open the door again. It's like, hey, how you went? And Corey's like, oh, the one didn't work again. I was like, no, it's fine. The next one, 22 times.
Yeah.
And like, we never give up, and it was tough because back then it was actually my first proper job in marketing. I was a junior. I wasn't earning much. I was basically support all our expenses. Corey was full-time in the property, but we never fight. We never give up. And we keep strong with our goal in mind. Is that what you want? And I always am a big believer, you need to enjoy the journey. You don't see just, okay, I'm going to make, I don't know, 200,000. If you are suffering for this entire period until you get the 200,000, does it worth? I don't feel like worth. I feel like you should be having fun and to laugh at your mistakes. And it's like, and actually give yourself some credit. It's like, oh my God, okay, I'm closer. We failed 22 times. But I don't see it as we failed 22 times. We are 22 times closer to achieve our goal.
100%. There's a lesson in all of them. I mean, I did feel gutted, and I didn't feel like, oh, that's great, I failed, that's awesome at the time. Like I hated what was happening, but I had to decide to look for the lesson in it and the upside of it, that I was able to approach this high-end profile developer. If I mentioned his name, you would know. From someone that's never bought a block of land in his life or signed a mortgage document, and present something to him. To me, that gave me a confidence of knowing what actually happens in a situation, whether instead of like trying to imagine what would happen. And
a bit of a steep learning curve there.
Massive, but that's only one of many, because like there's, and someone asked, why did I not try another ultimate buyer? I did. They all said the same thing. I tried 2 others. They were high profile. I only had about 3 and a few smaller ones.
Yeah, I think it's important to give some context as well, because when these ultimate buyers, they reach out to us, this specific suburb has a lot of demand. But what happened is everyone is starting developing there. So in the space of maybe a few months, the demand starts going down because it had a lot of houses already.
There was too much stock.
Yeah, so all this work Corey was going through, when he finished, he went there, the developer like, no, there are too much houses there already. I don't need the area anymore.
Yeah. And that was, yeah, it's more than just the fee zone, the numbers and stuff. It's the timing, especially for something that big.
Yeah.
And I mean, other situations where I rock up to big boardrooms and it'll be like the farm. This was like 500 and something lot subdivision as well. It was an almond farm, and there's 5 brothers and the dad, and they're like 6'6", really big guys. And here I am sweating with me negotiating the price, and that was intimidating for me as well. So there's a lot of little stories. But
this is a good question. So what were their concerns with the visa? So what happened?
The big one?
Yeah, actually what happened is the visa will work, but in this area, we need a sound barrier.
Oh, no, that was that was the other one, I think. The one for...
So explain.
Yeah, that one there. That's another deal. Yeah. It's all...
Another deal? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, look, what I'd like to do is let's get kind of focused onto the, not wanting to take away from what you've done, but let's get onto the, because you're at the point now where you've obviously run into some things where it's just not working, and I Love Real Estate is there. So you guys joined, when was it? Was it 2019?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, October.
Yep.
Ultimate, and then Platinum, I think December 2019, wasn't it? Yeah. And
when you came into the community, you had a bit of debt as well? Yes. Yeah. About 40 to 50K of credit card debt at the time. Yeah. Got it. Okay. All right. So obviously not really in the best position, and obviously, you're kind of keen to do things, but things weren't really kind of coming together. Yeah. Well, I basically, we joined, basically at that time, I decided to get a job, because I promised Amanda, if I didn't get a deal happening in the next 6 months, I have to get a job. And that was, for me, it was really hard to do personally, but I did it. And so the question, sorry, what was the question I'm asking, Michael? Sorry. Right, this is about when you first joined. You've obviously got some credit card debt there when you started. I think it was 40, 50. But things weren't coming together for you. Okay. So basically, we joined the community, and what we're looking for from the community, because I basically wanted to know what is it that I'm missing and what the actual process is, and build the confidence in order to find the deal that, to get a deal across the line. And so we joined Ultimate, and then we joined Platinum because we decided to take it to the next step and learn what I need to learn. But I guess it took us probably about 12 months. The first 12 months of being in the community, we were facing challenges, and I had the credit card debt and stuff like that as well. And so, it took us about 12 months learning the process. And I think the biggest takeaway I got out of the program, especially in Platinum, was actually the onboarding training of the area research. And because I was looking for the process of what needs to happen, what is the steps I need to do to actually find a deal and land something. And so, because then
being full-time, I was able to reduce the debt whilst learning about what needs to happen to find a deal, to secure a deal. And because we were able to reduce the debt and both working full-time at the time, we had serviceability. So this opened up a lot of opportunities for us. And yeah, that's basically what happened, how we started to kind of crawl from the depths of the darkness that we were in at the time, if that makes sense. And so being in the community, I think the community part side of things was probably the most powerful part, because Amanda and I were pretty much alone. No one around us understood what we were doing and why don't you just get a job, or why are you doing this, or, you know, like people just didn't understand. But being in the community, seeing other people succeeding and other people failing and learning from their mistakes, we just weren't alone anymore, and we're able to learn and be inspired by other people. And that's what kept us going. But when we were in the community and we joined, we were in Europe for our honeymoon when COVID hit. And so we missed out on a lot of the conferences at the time. And there was a bit of uncertainty as well with the market and what was going on. And our JV partner at the time was a bit concerned as well. But Amanda and I, we've persevered through so much. We decided to look at what opportunity it created for us and how we can overcome this and create opportunity for other people as well, JV partners and other people alike. And so we just kept going. We kept persevering and focusing on what the next step is, what the deal is that we need to do. But that was 2020. We didn't even find a deal, and it was about October, November. We're just like, okay, I'm in platinum now, and I'm still not able to acquire a deal. This is ridiculous. This is probably 3 years of struggle of in the property. So it took us 3 and a bit years to find a deal, to acquire our first deal. And I think a lot of people don't see that. Like you don't see the journey that happened. They just see the tip of the iceberg. But there was a lot of struggle, a lot of letters, a lot of conversations with vendors and agents and no's. You know, like during this time, we're looking for a subdivision deal, and we'll make an offer on a property, and the wife is like, yep, looks great, but the husband's not sure, he wants to give it a couple of days, and someone will swoop in unconditional at 100K more. And I'm like, how did you make money from that? But we lost the deal. Like just random situations we had no control of. And so it got to near the end of the year, we're like, you know what, maybe I'm still trying to reach too big. Maybe I just need to cut it back further. And so we decided to do a PPR deal. We decided to buy a single block of land, build on it, live in it for a bit, and then sell it for a profit. Really, really simple.
So just on that kind of change of approach, was that like a mind shift kind of for you guys? Because you mentioned as well, I mean, I think that there was a little bit of a mind shift kind of occurring, especially in platinum.
Well, for Amanda, it was a lot for you for mindset, wasn't it? Rather than me, it was
Yeah. I think for me, of course, like now my English is perfect, but back then I was like, when I started in properties, like, how am I going to reach out to people? That fear of actually talk over the phone with an agent actually gave me anxiety. Like, how am I going to call an agent and start asking about, like, how's the questions? So I had to go through a huge growth to get to where I am right now. And it was simple things that, oh my gosh, okay, I need to call this agent. Okay, I need to ask all this bunch of questions. And then also don't believe that I could achieve that, because like I'm from Brazil, and in Brazil, you are learning that you need to go to the best university, you need to do your master's, and you need to find a good job and you stay there. And for 15 years is actually the reality there. Like you stay for 15 years in a job. And when I got here in Australia, like, of course, I was in a different country, and I met Corey, and Corey has all this entrepreneur mindset. And I learned that this is not the only way. There are other ways for financial freedom. And for me, Narelle, actually, I'm very grateful for her, because I had all these struggles like while I was doing platinum. I had to really shift the mindset that I'm capable of. Now I call the agencies from the car. I don't mind, but it was a huge struggle for me, and also believe that I can do it. So I feel like when I had the mindset shift, everything changed, because sometimes the fear can actually block a lot of things from you. You know, sometimes you are sabotaging yourself and you don't even realize that. So you need to give a step back, understand your feelings, understand which areas you need to improve, and what you're telling yourself. You know, you need to be so careful what you're telling yourself. And I wasn't telling myself good stuff. I was like, oh, you're never going to be able to do. And now I am like, oh, that's easy. I got this. So yes, it was a huge mindset shift. And having a coach that I never had a coach in my entire life was a huge difference.
Yeah. I mean, when I met Amanda, she couldn't even respond to hi, how are you? Like, we met in a jiu-jitsu class, I was saying, and Amanda couldn't even speak English at all. She couldn't respond. So I'm very amazed and proud of how far Amanda's come, because Amanda's a completely different person. Like, she's came here with $3,000 in Australia, not being able to speak English, and working as a nanny.
$4,000 actually. I was a little bit more rich than you think.
Yeah, $4,000. Sorry. To, you know, negotiating with agents on you know, on what the price that we're after, and their commission, and the purchase price of deals that we're going through,
and with vendors as well.
And vendors, yeah, 100%. Like,
I went there to actually, I was trying to sell was a vendor, how it's called again?
Vendor finance.
Vendor finance.
Yeah.
And I was like negotiating with him.
That was another failure.
Yeah. Yeah, but it was another failure, but I learned so much. It was so much fun.
Good failure. Failures are good.
Yeah. So yeah, I love it. I love it. I'm a completely different human, I think. I'm capable of anything now.
So do you think that a lot of those changes is coming from your experience within the Platinum?
Oh, 100%. Because as I mentioned before, Corey was full-time in property. I was in my marketing job. And then I remember Corey go home and to say, I went to this event with a woman called Dymphna. I was like, oh, good. It's a woman. I love women because we are very detailed, you know, like we are very caring. And the last course we did was a dude that just showed his pretty cars, like his Ferraris. I was like, I don't care about Ferraris. I just actually want a good house. It was a dude talking. So when he actually said it was actually a woman, I was like, I love it. So we went to the event, and I was not planning to pay for platinum. I was not planning.
Yeah, this is when we're in.
Now, look, this is a good thing, because there's a question that's come up and it said, how did you end up signing up for platinum when you were 50K in the credit card debt? So what happened? How did you do that?
Can I explain that one?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so Corey took me to the event. I swear to God, we had literally $5,000 saved, and we took all our saved to buy the Ultimate. Mm-hmm. It was our birthday present. We actually didn't even have the money to buy a gift for each other. We bought the course. I went there and I told Corey, we are not expending money in course until we start to making money.
Because there's been 2 courses already.
I know, yeah.
But see, I already made the decision, like in my head, that we're going for platinum.
I didn't. I was like, no, pay another course. I went to there, and then I went through the entire event. And at the end, it was actually an event here in Adelaide. Narelle came, and she said, who is actually interested in platinum, stay until the end for questions. And I'm a very open-minded person. So I was like, why not? I'm going to ask questions. And she actually, her answers, like everyone was asking questions, and her answers was so spot on that she actually, I need this. This is our next step. We didn't have the money. We are literally broke. But it was October. We literally saved the money in 2 months to pay for the first deposit of platinum, and then we did installment. Yeah. So literally, like, we save everything we could, pay the deposit, and then installment, like every month we pay for platinum.
Because I was working full time. That was when I need to work full time. I can't put the strain on Amanda. So yeah, we were able to save, and we still had the credit card debt, but I guess we had minimum payments that we just make sure we had to keep. And
yeah, but now we don't have that anymore. Thank God.
We just saved, and we sold a lot of things around the house. We used to do a little bit of garage sale flipping, buy stuff at garage sales.
I sold my bike, video game, everything.
PS4, everything. We just sold stuff. We put the deposit together and made it happen. But I remember the time, because Amanda was sitting in front of me and I already made a decision. I'm like, I want platinum. When Amanda put her hand up and asked a question about platinum, that means she's already considering it. And I thought, this is good. This is progress. Because when people ask you a question, even if it's like an objective question, it means that they're thinking about it. Right. So that's a good thing. Objections isn't bad. I'm like, Amanda's thinking about it. I remember that. I was like, we're so doing platinum. So that was basically what happened.
Pretty amazing, hey? Pretty amazing that you've kind of like, you've put everything on the line. And ultimate was a birthday present.
Yes. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Awesome. Well, look, we should now get into some of the things that you've done. Because it sounds like you've gone through a bit of a tough time to get there, and obviously getting into platinum, fantastic. That really has shifted things around. So what can you give us a bit of an idea of deals wise? What did you actually, because you mentioned you got into a PPR deal. Do you want to kind of go through and share that?
Yeah. So like I was saying before, that we were just like, maybe we should just bring it back to really basic. And because we'd never gone through like a mortgage application process or anything, or putting an offer, because we were doing options. So we were just like, you know what, let's just find a block of land. We'll treat it as a deal. We had by then, so we're talking like 9-10 months into platinum and still not finding a deal yet. We had some money saved because we end up paying credit card debt off from me working full time and Amanda working full time. Amanda had worked on getting a promotion, which really helped as well. We're able to save a bit more money, which is really, really cool, because we're living off of one wage at the end of it and saving the other. So that's how we live now. We live off of Amanda's wage and we save mine. And so we had some equity to buy a block of land with a 10% deposit, and we're going to build. And we also had grants. So we're able to get the $15,000 first homeowner grant in Adelaide, and also the $25,000 home builder grant that was happening at the time. So essentially the government was almost like a JV partner for us.
Yeah, just to give you some context as well, because this part is very interesting. Corey and I, we had a lot of failures. And in one of these periods, I was talking with Narelle, and that's right. Narelle was so amazing for me, because I was talking with her and I was in the desperate mode. I was like, I just want to deal for the sake of having a deal. And I was pushing myself so hard, making myself so sick that I never had anxiety in my life. In that period, I had anxiety. And because what I was doing with me. And then Narelle is like, you need to give a step back. Even if you need to stop it properly for a few months, you need to actually get better. And then I stopped for a few weeks, and then I miss it, and then I come back, and I was in the right mindset again. So when you see all these that we are going to show you, we have all these challenges in the past, even though exciting that I never had before.
Yeah.
Okay. So then when I called Narelle that day, Corey couldn't make our coaching session. So I was talking with her myself, and I say, Narelle, we have this PPR deal. And Narelle was so careful and so lovely to actually make sure we are doing this deal because it was a good deal, or because we are just rushing for the sake of do a deal. So she literally asked me the right questions, and she made me show her the profit at the end. And the end of that call, she said, okay, yes, these look like a good deal. But the beginning, we had the right questions from our coach to realize if it was actually a good deal or actually was, I need a deal.
Yeah.
Mm.
Were we going into it desperate, or were we doing it because it was a deal, essentially?
So, such a good point. Yeah, such a good point to clarify. Yeah. The actual decision-making process, it becomes a business decision. It doesn't become an emotional decision. Yeah, cool. So, how did the deal stack up? How did it, did it, how did it end up? Or how did it progress?
Yeah, so at the moment we're the slab is down and we're finishing the construction, but yeah, it ended up, so we put about 55K in total in equity, probably about by now, in it, plus 40K from the grants. So once we sell it after living in there, we'll probably have about 150K profit from that.
Yeah.
So we turned 55 grand into 150.
Yeah.
Nice. So almost triple what you put into it, hey?
Yeah, which is really cool. And I think the other part that's probably, it's really hard to put a dollar figure on, is learning the process, like the whole mortgage process, the whole construction process, dealing with the builder, dealing with all sorts of things. I mean, even that deal had its challenge, with the problem with settlement being delayed, to the builder having issues with the builder and challenges around that. Like, deals is basically teaching you how to be better at problem solving. That's essentially what it is. We're just getting different problems now, and all the other problems that we had before are no longer problems.
Good problems though.
Yeah, they're challenges. All the challenges we had before, we don't have as much now, because we've got other challenges that we're working on now. It's not going to stop. It just becomes different, essentially. So yeah, but that one will be about 150K. We turned 55 into 150, which is great. Yeah.
Awesome. So that's still obviously in construction, isn't it? Steps down and so forth. Yep. Okay, cool. Okay. So then now that you've done that, what did you do then?
So it's like when it rains, it pours, right? So that was early this year that we've settled on the land. And then within about a month or two, because we were sending letters for a subdivision, we had a JV partner, Will Serviceability. We had a letter that turned into a purchase of a property.
Yeah, just give some context.
Sorry.
I had a mark in my finger of so many letters.
Oh, yeah.
I need to write. I was like manually writing every single letter, 100 letters per month.
That was our KPI. That was the minimum.
I still have the mark here, guys. Okay, everything leaves marks.
Because we were handwriting the letters at the time, because we were testing between printed and handwritten envelope, seeing which one had the best, because we're marketers, right? It's open rate, click-through rate, all that kind of stuff. What is the rate? Yep. What is the conversion rate of my letters? Trying to optimize that. And Amanda had calluses on her fingers from writing too much.
Wow.
Yeah, so the lesson there, writing doesn't make a difference, but handwriting the letter envelope does. So
okay.
Anyway,
the letter. Yep. Okay, cool. So how did the calluses pay off? Did the calluses pay?
Yeah. So this one here was our first subdivision deal. And so we were talking probably about 2 months after we started the PPR one, each month. That one there we purchased for 320. So this is complete off market from a letter drop. And it was an elderly guy. He had health issues. He needed a delayed settlement to find, living back with his daughter. So we had to accommodate that, which was good. And so we're just waiting on titles now to be issued. All the blocks have been sold. So the 2 blocks, we budgeted 235K per block, no, 230K per block, and they end up selling for 250. 250 and 251. So they're all, which is like another 40K profit there than what we didn't anticipate. So total profit was about 81 grand on that subdivision. And we're splitting it between 50-50 with our equity partner and us. So it's 40 grand for us.
Yeah. And how much money did you put into that? Because you're in the middle of doing your PPR deal.
0. That was no money down. We were just serviceability and finding and doing the deal.
So no money down, serviceability partners, that's it, and 81K profit that you split.
Yep, 50-50.
2 months after you've done your PPR deal.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Awesome. Okay. What happened then?
Yeah. So we were just kind of like, all right, how much can we still borrow? Because we had the house and land and then the subdivision deal. And so we worked with Wisdom Loans to figure out, what is our borrowing capacity. And then we had a our current JV partner, our second JV partner, approached us, and we started to do talk about deals. And so this one here, we were serviceability, no money down. This is a knockdown, subdivide into two, and build 2 high-end double-story houses here in Adelaide. And so that one there had its challenges as well. Basically, what happened? Do you want to explain? This is your part, the settlement thing, or?
Yeah. So in this one here was a very interesting one because I changed my job because I was going to receive $40,000 more per year in this new job.
So it was trying to boost our serviceability.
Yeah, so it was a huge promotion. I started the job that will allow us to do this third deal.
Yeah, which was an $880,000 purchase.
Yes.
So we're getting bigger.
Yeah, so we bought the house, we signed the contract, with our JV, and I was fired.
Yeah. So this was unconditional, so there was no subject to finance.
Yes, unconditional.
We were confident, and we knew we were confident in the deal and everything, but we knew we had to be aggressive because the market was really aggressive. So we couldn't do subject to finance. We knew we just had to go unconditional. Here's the 80-90K deposit that the JV supplied, and we have a 90-day settlement or something, or 60-day settlement.
Yeah,
on that one, and it made a loss of job.
Yeah, so then I was fired, and what happened is when you actually have your JV, the first thing is, in my head, I'm a problem solver in my job, whatever I put in my hands. So I never want to go there and tell my JV I have this problem without a solution. So I need to give a step back, and thank God I have a very good reputation in marketing field. So I got another job in 24 hours. And then I call my JV partner and say, hey, I lost my job, but I already find another one, and I already called Simone from the Wizard Loans, and we still can serve the deal. So we gave him the problem, but we also gave our JV the solution. Yeah. So it was very good because it was a huge opportunity for us to actually turn on our problem solver brain and work together as a team to solve and to keep the deal rolling.
Yeah, because for us, it was important to show him that when we're faced with a challenge and how we react, like that's what we've learned from all the failures and all the challenges in the past 3 to 4 years, is how our attitude towards problems or challenges. And Amanda, look, I freaked out for 2 hours because I was like, oh my God, we just signed this. He's got this money. Now we've done this. This has happened. What the hell are we going to do? I did freak out. It wasn't like, great problem, let's go. It wasn't like that. I freaked the crap out of what was happening. Like, that's the reality.
Can you just give it a bit of an idea of the time frame? So you've basically, your JV partners put 80 grand into the deal.
At the time, yep.
At the time, yep. You've signed the contract.
Mm-hmm.
Unconditional for 830, was it?
880.
880. Yeah. All right. Signed the contract. How long? And so you've gone unconditional on that. So everything's kind of going ahead. Mm-hmm. How long between that and then you getting fired?
Maybe a week.
About a week.
About a week.
Yeah. So we were basically putting everything together with Simone. Like, she had all our details for the mortgage. Like, it was a no-brainer. But she, and we had the package to give Simone, and it was like, hey, Simone, this has happened.
Yeah, and we can't lie to the bank. You actually need to tell the bank the truth.
Yeah, of course.
So, she needs to actually explain.
They're gonna find out anyway, aren't they? Eventually,
they're gonna find out. Yeah.
So she needed to explain to the bank that, look, she lost her job because of this reason. Actually, the company could afford me anymore. And wasn't her fault. The company actually gave me a letter saying that the reason, but she already found another job. So the bank, good on her. They literally helped me out. Yeah. So the bank actually was very kind as well.
Yeah, because we had to kind of give reasons like, why did you go from 130K to a 90K job? Basically?
Yeah. Okay.
We lost 40K in service, like in annual income from Amanda's side, but luckily I had a pay rise and it kind of balanced it out a little bit. So we were still down, but we scraped by with this one with serviceability. Like, the bank, when we're going through the finance process, had to double check the rent to make sure we could afford it, because they didn't know we're obviously going to knock it down. So it was scrape the barrel, basically.
Wow. This is the rewards from taking risks, eh?
Yeah, well, it wasn't planned like that. It was going to be smooth. My man had a new job, it was all good. Like, it was just follow the process. But
yeah, and always you need to have a strong mindset that you need to be ready for any challenge. So every time when you're getting a deal, you need to say, look, something's going to happen here. And you need to be okay with that. So it's a lot of mindset growth there. I'm not saying you to expect the worst. I'm just telling you to be prepared that something can come up and you need to solve it.
Yeah.
Problem solvers, love it.
Like even in the second deal, we had the conveyancer trying to negotiate the price after we signed. Like little things like that. I'm like, what are you doing? Like, we're already unconditional. What's going on? Like, how could you plan for that? Like just random stuff, right? So anyway.
So maybe you should. Hey, so now this deal, this third deal. So how does it stack up then?
Yeah, so
obviously it's going ahead now. It's all cool. It's with juggling. Yep.
A month ago, something like that. Yeah, just over a month ago we settled. We're just waiting on the development approval now for the construction. But that was a purchase price of $880, and the houses we anticipated they'll sell for 1.25 mil each. But the way the market's going in some of the comparables, we'll probably be able to get 1.3, 1.35. So this is based on a 1.25 mil sell. We're looking at about 380K profit. But the way that it's going, like I'm budgeting 1.3, 1.35. We're probably looking at about 450, 500 if we get that. But the way it's split, so this is no money down, serviceability. Our JV partner is the primary doing partner in this one because it's commercial finance, because we don't have serviceability to finance the build. He has a track record. We don't in construction. So that's how it had to be structured. But we're still doing, because the thing that we wanted was obviously the cash, but also the experience most of all, because then we can start doing those deals ourselves. And that's a 30-70 split, 30% us that we wanted. 70% him.
And you're happy with that because you're learning as well. You're still doing a deal. You're getting into yourself a deal and you're learning at the same time.
And the money's good. How much is the profit?
It was like worst case 110, best case but 160K.
What else do you want?
I anticipate 140 to 150K profit for us and no money down.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. So and that will be 12 months, so less than now.
Fantastic, awesome, guys, awesome. So now, and you've probably got more deals, kind of like in the pipeline.
Yeah, so now we're just looking for the fourth one now. So we don't have serviceability and we don't have enough equity to do a deal yet, of course, because it's all happening in the future. So basically what we're doing now is I'm solving the problem of how can I do a deal without being serviceability or equity? That's the next challenge. How can I do that? Because if I can, once we do that, then I'm free. There's no limit, essentially. It's essentially like I've experienced that process, and that's the next step for us. So we're looking for either a subdivision or a construction, probably a subdivision to make it really clean, based on our appetite for our JV partners. And we're basically back to sending letters again and doing the same process.
Already started.
Yeah.
How are those calluses going?
No, we don't handwrite them anymore. Yeah, it's the envelopes that we need.
Yeah, now just the envelopes. Yeah.
Just the envelopes. Okay, cool. So if you have a look at where you've been, I mean, you've been in the community coming up on 2 years now, isn't it? So it's not even 2 years. It's going on to 2 years.
October will be, yeah.
And within that period of time, you've done 3 deals. Well, you're into 3 deals. Yep.
Yep. The first year we did nothing. It was only the past 6 to 8 months that we're doing these 3 deals. We're in the past 6 to 8 months.
Wow. So you're doing a lot of catching up.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, pretty
It's
much.
so interesting because in the beginning, you are learning, like is the time for you to actually study all the material and start to practicing. And then in the following year, everything happen at once because you have the knowledge from that year that you are struggling. So this is the way I see it.
Yeah, I mean, like even the agents that we built relationships with in the first year of Ultimate or Platinum, sorry, end up being the selling agent for the 2 blocks of land, and it was able to get a 20K uplift from what we budgeted for each block, but we had such a tight relationship, a good relationship, to the point where we're catching up for lunch and things like that. But those are the types of things that we've, that we built up during that period of not, trying to find a deal, but not finding it. We kept focusing on the relationship first.
And just studying a lot.
Yeah, and being authentic about it, not pretending that we've done a whole bunch of deals so that people think differently of us,
That's so true. When I call the agents, like, never done this in my life before, but I need your help because I want to.
Yeah, because that eliminates the nervousness, because sometimes you feel like you need to pretend that you're someone that you're not there yet. But Amanda and I would approach like, look, I'm new to this. This is how I'm approaching it. I was wondering if you could help, that kind of thing. And it just eliminates that pressure of having to impress to then, you know what I mean?
Yeah, totally. Yeah. Different flow, different vibe.
Yeah, exactly. But that 12 months of being in Platinum was just primarily learning a lot and building relationships. And that's how we approach our JB partners as well, is having that really close relationship where we get along. And having that being authentic and honest. And like when issues like Amanda's job, we decided like, all right, we need to let him know in 24 hours, we have to come up with a solution. We're not just going to go, this happened and that's it. He needs to know, he was going to ask us, so what are we doing about it?
Absolutely.
We had to do that. So yeah.
So how do you stack up now? If you're looking at the deals that you've done, you've got the PPR, you're looking at about 150 from that one. Then you're looking at the subdivision deal, you're looking at around about 40.
40,
yep.
Out of that one. And then the last one, that the 1 and 2 build, you're looking at maybe about 140?
Yeah.
That one there, approximately. Yep.
And we're also, I said before, because we've learned to live so lean, we don't have any debts and things like, we cleared that out. We're living off of Amanda's wage and we save mine. So we live off of one wage, we live lean. So we're saving anywhere from 50 to 70K a year in my wage, we're saving it. And I mean, I started off with a very low wage 3 years ago, and I built that up because I knew that the more wage I had, the more I could borrow.
So it's a motivation for his work.
You know what I mean?
Totally, yeah.
And so because we're so used to living lean and I mean, we didn't even mention, we paid a wedding ourselves when we got married in those 3 to 4 years as well, without any help, so there was a lot of there was that as well, I forgot to mention, but we learned to live lean. So we're probably going to save, I would say 70K in the next 12 months. We'll have that as well in savings.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
So we need to learn how to manage money. And the more money we get, we still need to learn how to manage it. We need to learn how to manage this so we can manage that. So that's our approach to it. So
instead of having 40 to 50K in credit card debt, you're now saving over that each year.
Yes.
Yeah, but just to put something important, like the credit card debt actually was when Corey was a teenager, and he did just so many courses to improve, and all his debt was to learn. So this is important as well. We never actually expanding clothing and shoes, and was actually Corey focus in learning.
Yeah. A $500 credit card given to you at 18, and it turned into a $23,000 credit card at 30 or 28 or something like that, whatever it was. That was lessons learned, from dealing with debt and money and stuff. But like I just kept buying courses and didn't care.
So someone asked you what is Corey's jobs. It's funny, Corey and Jai, we work at the same place 24/7. Corey and Jai, we are 24/7 together. We work at the same office, same thing, same salary, same
Yeah, pretty much. 24/7.
Sorry.
Sorry.
Oh, no, please continue. With that,
I was going to say the job before this one though, when I was earning about 58K a year, and that was with my budget, I decided to get that job because it was about finance and money and debt and bankruptcy. And I did that for 18 months whilst doing the property options and at the tail end when I started I Love Real Estate, because I knew like because I had a marketing background, I can get a higher paying marketing job, or I can learn about debt and how to get out of debt and how to forecast and manage cash flow. And I decided that job, even though it was less pay, because I feel like that was something I need to learn. And that was hard because it wasn't used to having a job. I was used to working for myself, but that helped me to get through the credit card debt and looking at FISOs and things like that too. So that's the decision behind that. But then I got to the point where I was like, I've learned that, I want to go back to marketing, and that's where I got the pay increase, which is where I'm in now. So
yeah,
digital marketing, yeah.
Cool. Hey, I wanted to just check in with you on the JVs. There's a question here from Heidi on Facebook, and she's saying, how do you find your JV partners? And I would like you to kind of expand a little bit about the whole JV process for you as well, for you guys.
Yeah. The way I see it is you have to reverse engineer the process. So to do that, you need to figure out what are your strengths and what are your weaknesses. And when I say weaknesses, I mean, for us, we were able to borrow at the time, but we had no equity. We had time though, but those were our two strengths, the borrowing and the time, but the weakness was the equity. So that made us clear about, that we need to find someone with equity. And even better, that had no time, right? Because I'm solving his weaknesses as well in the exchange. So that was the first thing that told me that, we need to find an equity partner. And then from there, I mean, the Platinum Forum, it's actually in the Ultimate, I think it is, the forum there. That was a good place to start as well. We did some posts there, and that helped generate some JV partners as well, some interest. But for us, I think what really worked after that was putting ourselves out there, sharing our challenges, sharing our wins and losses, like on the closed group with videos and things like that, because I think to us, it showed us our character and who we are and how we deal with situations. I think that's the most important. Like when we have the 300 to 400K equity next year saved up and I wanted to invest in someone's deal, I will be looking for that. What is their character? How do they deal with problems and things like that?
And we build a relationship with people, like genuinely relationship, even before having a deal. So the relationship we had with our first JV, we didn't even have a deal. And it's like, hey, do you want to eat pizza and catch up and talk? And, see if we are fit for each other. And then actually, after we start the relationship with him, now he's our friend, we become friends. We actually got a deal 6 months after. And he was there. He's like, yes, okay, good. Let's go. And now the second JV is, we didn't even have a deal either. He approached us, hey, do you want to do a deal together? But he was listening to us, to our videos that we are putting there, and all the pretty and the ugliest part of all this property thing. And we now become like friends as well. So
the first JV partner wasn't even intentional. We were just talking. It was 2 super conferences ago when we were allowed to catch up in person at the time.
Well, it was actually the original super conference because we didn't have one last year.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Exactly. Okay, cool. Okay, yeah, okay. And yeah, we just caught each other's eye and started talking. There was no intent, there was no I'm going to find a JV partner, I'm going to talk to 50 people. It wasn't like that. I think going back to my story about when I was 14, I just set the intention. It doesn't mean I set the intention and then just relax. I was still out there, putting ourselves out there, doing it. But we already made the decision that this is the kind of JV partner that we're looking for. And that's pretty much it. But we approach it as relationship and trust first. Has to be
100%.
And that situation where man lost a job, that is an example that we had to pivot and look at as an opportunity to show to him that this is who we are. this is what happens when life throws us a curveball and we have to overcome it. So
yeah. Awesome. So look, guys, how is your life different now to before you started?
Everything. I feel Corey is so happy right now. That is very good because like all the frustration and the anger is like is gone. Like we feel very peaceful and we know what to do. You know, the money is just the consequence. Of course, money is so important, but we are having fun. You know, now like they are all that struggle, all that exciting, all that things gone, you know, and that is very good. We also now we know how to do, and it now is so dangerous because we know how to do. So the sky is the limit for us. And it's very important because Corey and I, we don't have kids and yet, but we always actually want to have kids when we have our financial freedom. So we can see that in 3 years, we can start to try to have a baby because we don't need to come back to work straight away. We can have the luxury to take 6 months off to be with the newborn. So we actually are able to dream bigger because we know how to get there.
Yeah. I think for me, I think I'm still that 25 or 21-year-old that's still hungry. Like that hasn't changed. I think I'm just because I'm already planning next year how can I double the equity that's coming, if that makes sense. That's just my mindset. That's the entrepreneurial aggressive Corey mindset. But I think now I have a basis of a foundation of understanding of how it works and what needs to happen and the tools I need to do that I have to make that happen now. That's the difference. And like Amanda's saying, what Amanda's really saying is I'm not driving her nuts anymore.
Yes.
I'm not like just, I'm a bit more focused because I used to be a big scatterbrain, big picture thinker, that kind of thing. And now I'm very, I don't know what the word is for it, but I'm very systematic.
You know what to do.
Kind of thing.
You got this.
I know what to do. I can switch off my mind when I need to. But I mean, look, Amanda and I still live in the same apartment that we were living in for the past 5 years. We bought a car, which was $9,000. So, you know what I mean? Like we're not kind of doing, none of that's changed.
Now that has air conditioning. That
is a huge upgrade. In life. So I don't rock up to meetings with sweat patches on my back. Amanda and I are still, we're living off of one wage, not because we have to, but because we want to. It's, so we're not buying lots of different things and 2 cars and it hasn't changed and the hunger's still there. So
and the one thing that is very smart for us, like all the money that you're going to make from property is to invest in property. So we are not taking this money to buy anything personal for us just yet. So next a year when it's 300, 350, we are doubling this money. We are investing property again to make 700. We are not even buying 1 pair of shoes for us.
No.
Nothing. So I think next step for us is to learn to be a better spender because
I think that will be a challenge because we're so used to living so tight, and it feels weird and guilty to spend, and that's another challenge I think.
That's definitely our next challenge.
Awesome. So Corey, how do you look at that decision that you made when you were a teenager many years ago? Do you feel like that you've kind of in the area of now accomplishing that?
Definitely, yes. I didn't doubt that'll happen, if that makes sense. So I'm not surprised, as if that makes sense. So I'm trying to verbalize how I feel, but I remember when we were in the supermarket, I was saying before that there was a time where Amanda and I had to choose between, it was like we didn't have butter, we wanted butter and eggs, and we can only afford one. if that makes sense. So obviously we went for the eggs, but and I remember at that time, because there's like a little glimpse of little milestone moments that happened, and because it was so impactful on me that it's very vivid, you know. And so I still remember saying to Amanda, I said, look, I feel like I have money, but it's not there yet. Like, is that weird? Like, I feel like it's there, but I haven't got it. Like, because I truly believe that it's going to happen. Like, I didn't doubt it. Like, there were times where I'm like, man, is this going to happen? I'm frustrated. I'm over it. But I made that decision so ingrainedly in my unconscious, like in my mind, when I was 14, during a stressful event of hearing my parents scream and argue about money, that kind of made it such an emotional splinter in my mind that, you know, so nothing has changed on that. I still feel that. I still feel like it's going to come. It's going to come. And maybe that could be a challenge in itself, where I need to learn how to enjoy the process as well. That's happening too. So I'm still working on that. But I think if I was to go back to my 14-year-old person, it'd probably be, I told you so. It's probably be that. And that sounds cliche, but it's true. That's just how I feel. Yeah, this is only the beginning. Basically.
Awesome. Hey, just a couple of things that have come through on Facebook. Now, were you both in platinum?
Yes.
You're both in platinum. Okay, and that was with obviously with Narelle.
Yes.
Wasn't it awesome? Okay, fantastic. She's awesome. Great. And then Heidi was saying, when you're talking about spending, she said, don't worry, when you have children, you will become a spending machine.
Maybe that's why we haven't got kids yet. Yeah, I don't doubt it.
Awesome. Guys, look, thank you so much for taking the time out today and just really sharing just with honesty and openness about your journey. You've done some phenomenal things. I mean, like, your results are awesome in such a short period of time. It's so heartwarming to see that, you know, that things are coming together, and they're coming together fast for you as well. So one thing I will mention, which is right at the moment, is that the I Love Real Estate 2021 success story competition is just about to be released, and you guys have to put a story in this year. You know, please do. Wait
another year, but maybe we should. I don't know.
You should indeed.
You can put it next year again. Nothing's holding us back.
That's right. Put it in. That'd be great. So look, thank you everyone for joining us. Well, if you haven't already, please put in some comments. I can see some beautiful comments coming back for these guys as well. And thank you for everyone on Facebook. I can see the comments coming back as well. Really lovely. Corey, Amanda, thank you so much.
Thanks,
really appreciate it. And we're looking forward to seeing what else you're going to be doing. And all going well, put your story in. We might see you again at the Super Conference too.
Sounds good. And just my last message to everyone, guys, never give up. I know it sounds cliche, but keep pushing. And you are stronger than you think. So when you feel like you got your limit, keep pushing, because you have a way to go. You're stronger than you think.
And this is someone who picked up a job after 24 hours after losing it while they were in the middle of a deal. So yeah, there's a bit of weight behind that.
Definitely.
Okay, fantastic. Look, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. For everyone listening in, this interview is streamed live to Facebook. You will be able to review it there on Facebook. To review it, we also put it up onto the members only website as well. Really appreciate you taking the time out to join us today for the I Love Real Estate Student Success Story today with Corey and Amanda. Corey and Amanda, thank you so much. We'll end off there. And we'll say bye-bye, and until next time, hey?
Bye.
See you guys.
Thanks, guys. All righty. See everyone now.